Good morning, everyone, and welcome, and I really want to thank you all for coming. My name is Melanie Willoughby, and I am the Senior Vice President for the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. We are very excited today to join with Senate President Sweeney, Assembly Speaker Vincent Prieto, the New Jersey Council of County Vocational and Technical Schools, and representatives from industry to announce the launch of the New Jersey Employer Coalition for Technical Education. We formed the coalition to help address a growing problem in New Jersey and across the nation: the gap between the skills employers need and the skills available workers have. This gap has shown up in the surveys of our members and repeatedly in conversations with many of our member companies. The bottom line is that jobs are going unfilled in New Jersey because employers cannot find workers with the right skills. And we want to be sure that New Jersey employers are able to fill their available positions with well-qualified workers. Career and technical schools teach these skills that are demanded in today's workplace. That is why this coalition is committed to promoting the benefits of career and technical education to all: parents, students, teachers, legislators, and businesses. New Jersey needs to increase its focus on career and technical education programs that prepare students for college and careers, including many well-paying opportunities that can be launched with an industry credential or an associate's degree. To start things off, it is really my pleasure to welcome someone who has demonstrated an incredibly strong commitment to both education and economic development, Speaker Vincent Prieto. Thank you.
Thank you so much. For me, it's with great pride and joy to be here today for this coalition, to be part of something that I made part of my agenda in my inaugural speech when I got sworn in as Speaker. This is one of the things that has been my main focus. Obviously, I come from the trades. I think this is so important. And technical education, I think, is an economic engine for the state of New Jersey, for these individuals to have a different pathway. We've always talked about, we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars K through 12, but we're preparing our kids just singularly for college. And everybody, in my opinion, is not made for college, or there may be a route to be able to go to college in the future. College being so expensive, it's very difficult for somebody to be able to pay for it and go in a certain way that it's traditional, just go to a 4-year college. The technical field, sometimes parents do not understand it, do not know that there's apprenticeship programs, and focusing with the business community and this employer coalition, I think it's great because the industry needs to let us know what the workforce has to be. And by them telling us this is how we need our children prepared, this is great, because a better educated and a better prepared student coming out of high school, knowing what they want, it's much better whether they go to college or go into the trades, instead of just going to college and not knowing what they're going to do. I asked a lot of kids, well, what are you doing? And they said, well, I'm feeling it out. So they spend a year or two, in college, not knowing where they're going, taking classes that sometimes are not for what their eventual major is going to be. So then you have other kids that are more structured, that have gone to some of these vocational schools, that it's incredible the amount of people that want to go to them, but we don't have the slots for them in some of them. And traditionally, we used to have the wood shop, the mechanic shop in our local high schools. That no longer is there. It's not feasible because of the technology. If you wanted to have an auto shop, it would be very difficult. So the county vocational schools are perfect, but we need to hopefully expand these, and they would be, something to have for our kids to be able to go to that next level and earn a good living. There's studies that show that about 27% of people that go into the trades or have a certificate make more money than people that have a bachelor's degree. So that shows us something, and it talks about like 65% of the workforce by 2020 is going to need more than high school, but not a 4-year college education. So this is the right path. I think it is great for us to be putting a focus on it. So I want to thank the county vocational schools for partnering up with the business community, the NJBIA. I think this is great. It puts a focus on it. We'll work together with you, however we can be helpful with legislation. And I can't think of any better partner than the Senate President that an iron worker. Can you imagine this? Two blue-collar guys leading state legislature here. A plumber and an iron worker. So I think it's wonderful, and I want to introduce Senate President Steve Sweeney.
You know, I want to thank the Speaker for his leadership on this issue. Because as many of you know, I'm a union iron worker, and I'm actually a vice president for the Iron Workers International. And throughout this country and the state, we're facing severe shortages. So when Melanie and the vocational schools came together and the Speaker started promoting this, something needs to be done. Realize, if you're an iron worker, well, let's go back to labor statistics. You're going to change careers 8 to 10 times in a year. in a lifetime. That's Department of Labor stats. If you might start off in this position, you're going to wind up in that position at the end of your career. You're going to change careers. You can become an iron worker and be an iron worker till you retire. You can be a plumber till you retire. And you know something, you get actually really good too when you're doing it for a long period of time. So it's the security of having a job, of knowing what you're doing. You know, it's important. And what I recognized back in my Gloucester County days, which really made me troubled, was schools steer kids away from vocational schools. Now I'm saying vocational schools because I'm a little bit older. They're institutes of technology, but they're vocational schools. You got to give me that. And the reason why it's so important is every job's valuable and every job's important. And why would you steer kids to college? And I get it, because a lot of times we're worried about, our scores and where we're putting kids and how many kids are going here and there, rather than what's the best fit for the student. And that's the most important thing. This is extremely important, and again, I thank the Speaker for bringing this forward, because with business and labor and the schools all together, it's very rare when you can bring all the elements together, but this is needed. We have a crisis in this country, and if we don't start training people to be electricians and carpenters and plumbers and iron workers, who's going to do the work? So schools have to stop worrying about test scores and placements, and they have to start worrying more about what's best for children. We actually had a trades day where in Gloucester County College, I actually brought the building trades in with a bunch of guidance counselors, because they have to understand, guidance counselors have to understand what's best for the student. And this is an avenue, as I said before, you become an iron worker, you could be an iron worker for 40 years. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with not have to change careers? So again, there is a shortage, and it's only going to get bigger, because we've taken a position where we're moving away from vocational training. And again, I want to thank Phil and Melanie for working with us on this, because they have a need. We talk about employment, how high it is. They have jobs that need to be filled. It's a pretty simple solution. Let's start sending kids to programs where they're best suited and where they can have a quality life. So, Speaker, thank you so much for what you did here, pal.
Thank you so much. I want to just take one moment and come back up, and with the Senate President, I think we can put a great focus on this and really make this a successful effort. And with the coalition, it's all wonderful. But I wanted to acknowledge, and maybe bring him up for just say a couple of words. Pat Deining is the education chairman, and he actually is very committed to this. And we have spoken, and he has had some ideas on what we could do. And this is something great that we'll partner up with the business community, with all the advocates and all the stakeholders to make sure this is something that's doable, and that's something that's going to be very successful. Pat, you want to just come up and say a couple of words?
Imagine asking a politician, does he want to say a few words? I'll be real. I'll be real quick. I'm not an iron worker or a plumber, but I just got to say, I think this is the most exciting thing that has happened in my 13 years down here. Bill Clinton said the best social program is a job. Nobody does it better than our vocational schools, and I really want to thank Phil and NJBIA for putting impetus behind this. If I ruled the world, I would put 10 more vocational schools or career academies throughout our cities in particular and give kids a shot. So thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Senate President. This is exciting stuff.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're all for that, 10 more schools. So thank you so very much to the leadership and to the chairman. And now what I'd like to do is introduce the business community to speak, and that is Phil Kirshner, the president of the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, 21,000 companies strong in membership.
Thank you, Melanie. I also want to thank Senate President Sweeney, Speaker Prieto, and Assembly Education Committee Chairman Dignan for being here today and for the support of this important initiative. These leaders have demonstrated a deep understanding of economic issues here in our state and a strong commitment, as we've heard, to improving the state's business climate and creating jobs. So it comes as no surprise to us that they would lend their support to the improvement of career and technical education. Businesses in New Jersey, we're in this because we thrive on innovation and technical expertise. The businesses here succeed because they can deliver the sophisticated products and services that businesses elsewhere can't. And that doesn't happen without employees who have the right mix of knowledge and skills. Historically, our workforce has been one of the most educated and trained in the country. And this has consistently been one of New Jersey's biggest competitive advantages. But we can't take it for granted. We are finding that many employers struggle to find employees with the skills that they need. And that's particularly true of entry-level employees. That's what's so exciting about career and technical education. These schools really have done a great job of aligning their course content to teach students the skills necessary for their jobs that are actually in demand out there. Now we're here to launch the Employer Coalition for Technical Education to ensure that employers have the highly skilled workers to fill the jobs that are actually available. The coalition's job is twofold. We have to show prospective students and their parents and guidance counselors and principals and superintendents that there are good employment opportunities out there that they may not be aware of. And we have to make sure that our county vocational technical schools have enough space for the students who want to attend. Businesses will do our part to contribute to the development of courses and programs to make sure that the course content is relevant to their industries and the students are ready to go when they graduate. NJBIA is proud to be a co-founder of the Employer Coalition for Technical Education and to work with such a professional group as the New Jersey Council of County Vocational Technical Schools. We must align our education policies with the state's workforce needs to create a pipeline of qualified young adults who have the academic, the technical, and work readiness skills that employers need. We believe the coalition and its more than 100 members will bring a focus and attention to career and technical education and expand opportunities, good opportunities, for thousands of students. So thank you again to our leaders for their support and to the Council of Vocational Technical Schools for your hard work and dedication. Now it's my pleasure to welcome PSE&G, who is a great corporate partner in the coalition. And I'd like to introduce Scott Trapp, who is their Director for Talent Acquisition and Diversity Outreach. Thank you.
Good morning. PSEG has a long-standing history of supporting and partnering with career and technical education institutions within New Jersey. From the creation of the Green Energy Academy at Essex County Vocational Technical High School in Bloomfield to the creation of the Pathway from Salem County Vocational Technical School in our Nuclear Energy Technology program at Salem Community College. PSEG works across the state to promote the increasing technically related career opportunities within the energy sector, a sector that is critical to infrastructure and economy of our great state. It's a win-win situation whenever we put business together with education and we have the jobs. In this economy, we also find that people are underemployed. So in our community colleges, this is a great source for people to make sure that they can go back and get retrained. We have several different jobs to keep our state people strong. This is a great initiative, and when I first heard about it, I said, wow, I'm excited. This makes me excited in the work that I do every day. We have to go out to try to find technically trained people, and that's a hard thing to do. But when they're coming to you already prepared, that's a great thing, and it makes my job much easier. So we are proud to be a part of this. We want to continue working with the vocational schools as well as the community colleges that will provide good jobs, good careers for people that like to work with their hands. There's lots of opportunities out there in our power stations as well as within our utility. We need line workers. With Energy Strong approaching, if it's passed, guess what? This would be a great pipeline for those folks. So again, Energy Strong, People Strong, and we want to make sure that we are connecting business with education so they will know about what our needs are. And I appreciate the time that you've given me today to tell you more about PSEG's position. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Good morning. I'm Judy Savage. I'm the Executive Director of the New Jersey Council of County Vocational Technical Schools, and I'm the cleanup batter here. This is such an incredible honor to stand here with our Senate President, our Assembly Speaker, Assemblyman Duignan, the Chair of the Education Committee, and our colleagues at NJBIA. They've all been valued and longtime supporters of our county vocational schools, and we really, really appreciate their leadership on this. The Harvard University Pathways to Prosperity study brought national attention to career and technical education as both an educational and an economic imperative. It was a clarion call to engage employers in the development of career-focused programs that will expand opportunities for students and provide the workforce that our state needs to grow and prosper. The New Jersey Business and Industry Association enthusiastically embraced this challenge, and they have led the effort to build a partnership of employers, educators, and state policymakers to promote and support technical education in New Jersey. Perceptions of career and technical education are finally catching up with today's reality of technology-driven programs for all types of students. Employers, students, parents, and even college admissions officers recognize that New Jersey's county vocational schools provide a tangible value added out of the high school experience. Things like industry credentials, work-based experiences, college credits, and a strong career focus that is going to enable students to excel if they go to college or if they go straight into the workplace. 21st century career and technical education is learning that works because it engages students and it enables them to apply academic knowledge into their own career interests and goals. Our partnerships with business and industry keep the school programs aligned with employer expectations and needs and ensure that students will be ready for the jobs of today and tomorrow. This coalition intends to build on those partnerships by engaging more employers and more industry groups and creating a strong statewide voice to promote technical education and technical careers. We must ensure that our county vocational schools can keep pace with the demands of industry to add new programs as the economy rebounds and respond to emerging needs. And we need to address the demand to serve more students by expanding our current capacity. On a statewide average, county vocational technical schools get about 2.5 applications for every available space, and the demand is much higher for some programs. So we recognize that expanding capacity is a long-term need, but we hope that as the economy and the state's fiscal outlook improve, that this is something we can address. So February's Career and Technical Education Month. It's a very good time to announce this coalition. And on behalf of 21 county vocational technical school districts, over 32,000 students, we thank the leadership and the members of the coalition, the leadership of the legislature for their support and willingness to work with us on this. A number of the coalition's founding members are with us today. I'm not going to name everybody, but please identify yourselves. We really appreciate your work on this. And it's definitely been a team effort, but I have to single out Melanie Willoughby and Andrew Musick from NJBIA for really tireless work to move this forward. Also want to just quickly introduce a number of the county technical school leaders who are here today. Mike Dickin from Gloucester County, Kim Metz from Hunterdon, Brian Laughlin from Middlesex, Scott Moffett from Morris, and Chris Hartraff from Somerset County. Thank you all for coming, and I think together we'd be happy to answer your questions.
Speaker, if I may, expansion of the number of facilities available and the space available in the existing, how's that going to be done in tough budget times?
Well, that's why we need to look and see what, everything in budgeting is about priorities, and I think this is something that needs to be a priority, so we need to look at it, with the school's construction, of how we could do some of these things. That's why partnering up with my budget chairman that's here, that's what he says. He would love to add capacity, as you just heard, 2.5 applications for each seat that you have. That's something we need to look at. I was asked yesterday about my ideas about education and funding education. I think this is a focus we need to do, so we need to start looking at it. And at least by what we're doing here today, we're focusing on it. We have the business industry looking and saying, this is the type of workforce we need. That's what's going to be an economic engine for this state. So we need to hear them loud and clear. The money, where it's come from, I don't know. I don't know what the budgetary this year is going to give us. Our budget expectations have not been met in the last few years, but the economy is getting better. So we need to start focusing and then put this in the forefront. So where the money's coming from at this point in time, I'm not sure, but we'll try and see how we can make this a priority. Anybody else? I guess so. All right,
Well, then,
you so
thank you
much.
all very, very much for coming. Thank you.